Hey Snowboard Addiction, Taevis here, and in this video, I'm going to teach you how to frontside 900. First things first, I need to fess up. My front nines are not good, so I'll actually be using my cab 9 for this tutorial. I highly recommend taking your time and learning a proper front 9 because it's going to make front 10s and every spin is so much easier, and we're just steezy. And you don't want to be like me, going from front 10 to front 14. You want to have that front 12 there if you ever inspire to do it. And who knows, you might be making a frontside series from 180 to 1080, and then it'll be embarrassing when you get to front 9 and you're not really able to do it. So we're going to be using my cab 9, but I'm still excited and I still have a lot of cool principles that I'm able to teach you here, especially since we'll be using our cab, so there'll be some fun talking points that we weren't able to cover with normal frontside spins. So the main difference between the front 9 and the cab 9 is the cab 9 feels more like a backside spin with a switch front 1 attached onto it. This is a good way to actually think about spinning these tricks because it can help you visualize the second half of a motion. The big issue of visualizing your front 9 like this is it can make you want to rush into the axis of rotation you're feeling comfortable with. What is my biggest issue on the front 9? You can see it a lot where I'll go and overextend my upper body trying to get more power, more snap, and that's going to make my legs drag behind, making a disconnect in my rotation. The main reason this is happening is because I'm opening my upper body, making it so I don't have as much range of motion to play with. But I still need that power because a front 9 takes a lot of rotational force. So what do? I go and overextend my upper body, pushing the rotation, causing a disconnect. This is the biggest thing you want to avoid on your front 9s because it's going to make it so your spins are inconsistent and not one solid motion, what's really important for a strong front 9. The ideal takeoff on a front 9 has you leaving with enough rotational force to get the front 9 around, but not so much that you get disconnected in the air. A great way to tell if you had enough snap is if you're getting the full rotation, but can still grab at 270. If you can't grab into around 450, that's a good indication that you're going and snapping too much off the takeoff, letting your upper body lead the rotation, making it so your legs lag behind. In order to generate more snap and power without over-exaggerating your takeoff, the only thing you can do is speeding up your snap. This means you need to be even more patient coming to a takeoff, staying closed off a little bit longer, so that way you can go and snap faster without overextending. It's this quick snap motion that's necessary to generate the power needed for a front 9. The quicker you do your snap, the more power will be behind it. The only hard part is the quicker you do it, the easier it is to mess it up. So this is where the skill cap really comes in on frontside 900s. In order to train this, do a bunch of front 7s and a bunch of front 5s off really small jumps, getting really comfortable with fully popping and fully generating your rotation without overextending your upper body. You want to be leaving off the lip, feeling the strong power off the quick snap, leaving off your tail with having your whole core and body connected together. The best way to go and do this is by shortening your setup carve. Making sure that you're waiting and delaying when you get in your heel edge will make it so you can go and stay closed off more naturally. Because the biggest problem you'll see on bigger frontside spins is people getting antsy and letting their upper body open up before it's time to generate the snap. And that's going to result in you needing to overextend your upper body, causing that disconnect every time. That's why I always tell myself when dropping in for a front 9, front 10, to be patient, making sure that I'm not letting my upper body open up, and I'm making sure that I'm not getting on my heel edge too soon. Because the next part to getting a good front 9 is leaving off your tail. The more you scrub, the less you're going to get the arc of a jump. This is why delaying your setup carve will let you snap off your tail, putting you more on a natural arc of a jump, making it easier to go and commit to the rotation and get into the landing. Because front 9s use that switch frontside landing that's really hard to commit to if you don't have the proper arc going into the landing. Another way to increase power off the takeoff is increasing the speed of your snap. When doing a lofty like front 3, your snap is going to start around halfway off the takeoff and you're going to have a slow rotation as you leave the lip. But in order to get more power, we can actually make this motion quicker. By going and delaying when we start our snap, we'll have to do it faster. And the faster we do it, the more rotational power we're going to have coming off the lip of a jump. The issue with a faster snap is it makes it so your angles are more harsh. So if you have a little bit of jank in your takeoff, it's going to be more exaggerated because you're going into it with more power in a quicker motion. That just means you want to get really comfortable with a quicker, faster snap on smaller jumps before moving on to a bigger jump and trying a bigger trick like a front 9. I have a really hard time grabbing before 450, but this really highlights the second part of a spin. And that is because it's really like a backside rotation once you get through that first 450. What I mean by that is you want to be grabbing and then pulling with your back arm into a spin. If you don't let yourself pull into a rotation, you're not going to be able to get into that landing with that 2-footed stomp. What brings us to the in the air part of the front 9. It's going to be using the same spawning principles as you use for front 7s and front 5s, where you're going and constantly spawning the knuckle, and then as you pass it, you let your gaze continue on forward. It's really important to be actively engaging your muscles the whole time you're in the jump on the front 9. This means you're pulling in with your glutes, your core, your hips, your shoulders. Every part of your body is pulling and leading into that rotation. So much so that sometimes you'll feel like you're even flexing your eyes to get that little bit of extra rotation, because it's a lot easier to slow down a front 9 than it is to speed it up. This makes the two parts that make a front 9 being that takeoff, where you're going and getting a good extension that lets you go and grab at 270, and then pulling into a spin, locking your eyes on the knuckle as you pull with your whole body into that rotation, flexing and pulling it around until you go and see the landing and can land on both feet at the same time. This requires about as much power as a frontside 10 because we can't really utilize counter rotation. But what you can do to make it a little bit easier to rotate is let your body lead the rotation after you get the grab. What I mean by this is when you grab, you can actually go and pull with your upper body, having your upper body rotated around 90 more degrees than your legs are. This makes it so you can go and pull back the spin with counter rotation. Anytime you see someone's arm come back in front of them like this, that means we're utilizing counter rotation to pull everything back a line. And this can help go and speed up your rotation at that last second. And that's why it's so crucial to be pulling with your upper body the whole way through the spin, because then you can be at 7, see the landing, and finish off that spin if needed. This is one of the best ways to make front 9s more approachable and more consistent. Front 9s are really a finicky trick that needs to have a lot going right. If you're struggling with this trick or you're struggling getting up to it, check out Addiction Plus. We have video analysis, we have weekly live coaching, all the tools you need and can't get outside of a snowboard team normally. So if you want to get this trick, come join Addiction Plus, submit a clip to video analysis, we'll help you break it down, and if you're not ready to front 9, we'll tell you. But not only that, we'll also tell you how to get ready, because our goal in Addiction Plus is to improve as many people's riding as possible. Sign up now and let us improve your riding. Recap. Be patient with your setup carve. Swap into your heels after the spoon of the jump. Keep your shoulder and hips closed off to the jump until it's time to snap. Time your snap so you finish extending as your tail leaves the lip of a jump. Bring your body back aligned and reach the grab around 270. Lock your eyes on the knuckle and pull the rotation around using every part of your body. Pull more than you think, letting your upper body lead the rotation by a little bit. Then pull yourself into the landing, making sure that you're getting over your toes and getting both feet down to the ground. Land both feet stacked, look up, and ride away. Front 9s are one of the most tech tricks in snowboarding. If you do one in front of people that know what's up, they're going to lose their mind and get absolutely stoked. This is because it has just as much power needed as the front 10 with that really challenging split frontside landing. So if you want to be a beast, take your time, learn the front 9s, because after that, front 10s will be so much easier and you'll have an awesome trick in the bag. I'm Taevis from Snowboard Addiction, and our goal is to improve your riding.